As an endocrinologist, one of the most confusing situations I hear from adults over 60 is this. They eat a very light dinner, sometimes almost nothing at all, yet they still wake up feeling drained, dry-mouthed, and disappointed by a high morning blood sugar reading. Many people immediately assume they failed at their diet or made a poor choice the day before. In real life across the US, I see this pattern again and again, and the truth is far less about willpower and far more about how the aging body reacts to stress. After 60, going to bed with too little food often sends the wrong signal to the body. Instead of interpreting it as good control, the body reads it as risk. During the night, when there is no incoming fuel, the brain's priority is protection. It quietly instructs the liver to release stored sugar into the bloodstream to make sure vital organs have enough energy. This happens even if you ate clean, avoided sweets, and followed every rule you were taught. In younger adults, insulin can usually move that extra sugar out of the blood efficiently. In older adults, insulin works more slowly, and muscles don't absorb sugar as quickly. The result is that sugar lingers in the blood until morning. That is why many people wake up with fasting numbers 15 to 30 milligrams per deciliter higher than they expected and feel frustrated before the day even begins. What makes this especially hard is that the symptoms feel personal. People notice shaky legs, foggy thinking, or low energy and blame themselves. But this reaction is not a failure. It is a normal survival response of an older body. Skipping or severely shrinking dinner may feel disciplined, but it often creates overnight stress that pushes blood sugar up. Understanding this removes guilt and opens the door to a better approach. For people over 60, the goal is not to eat less at night, but to eat in a way that helps the body feel safe enough to rest. When the body feels secure, mornings become steadier, energy improves, and blood sugar readings make a lot more sense. I often explain to my patients over 60 that poor sleep does not simply mean less rest. It places the body into what I call a false stress state. Even when you are lying quietly in bed, many older adults tell me they fall asleep easily but wake up several times during the night. Or they wake at 3 or 4 a.m. and cannot drift back off. They usually dismiss this as normal aging. In reality, broken or shallow sleep sends confusing signals to the body, especially to the systems that regulate blood sugar. When sleep is deep, the body naturally shifts into repair mode. Insulin works more smoothly, muscles become more responsive to sugar, and the liver slows its release of glucose. But when sleep is light or interrupted, the brain misinterprets the situation as danger or alertness. It quietly activates stress hormones that prepare the body to stay ready, even though there is no real threat. This false stress response has a direct impact on blood sugar. Stress hormones signal the liver to release extra glucose into the bloodstream to provide quick energy. In a younger body, insulin usually handles this extra sugar without much trouble. After 60, insulin response is slower and less precise. Sugar released at night is not cleared efficiently and continues circulating for hours. By morning, fasting blood sugar may be 10 to 20 milligrams per deciliter higher, even if no food was eaten. This is why many people wake up tired, thirsty, or mentally foggy and feel confused about their numbers. What makes this especially challenging is that this process can repeat night after night. A few hours of poor sleep may not seem serious, but repeated shallow sleep trains the body to remain in a low-grade alert state. Muscles become less sensitive to insulin, the liver becomes more active at night, and morning readings become unpredictable. Many people respond by eating less, worrying more, or pushing harder during the day. unfortunately. That only adds to the stress load and worsens the cycle. In daily American life, I see this pattern often in older adults who are careful, responsible, and routine-driven. They avoid sugar, eat early, and still wake up feeling off balance. The missing piece is understanding that sleep quality matters just as much as food choices. When sleep is protected, the body no longer feels the need to defend itself overnight. Stress hormones settle, insulin regains some effectiveness, and blood sugar stabilizes more naturally. Improving sleep is not about sleeping longer. It is about sleeping calmly enough for the body to feel safe. When that happens, mornings become clearer, steadier, and far less frustrating. One of the most important shifts I help people over 60 understand is that their body is not broken. It is simply slower. After this age, insulin does not disappear, but it no longer responds with the speed it once did. Many of my patients remember a time when a short walk, a lighter meal, or skipping dessert would quickly bring blood sugar back down. When those same strategies stop working, they often feel confused or discouraged. The reality is that after 60, insulin handles sugar in a very different way. And expecting the body to react like it did at 40 only creates frustration. Insulin's job is to help move sugar from the blood into the muscles, where it can be used for energy. As we age, muscle mass naturally declines. Even in people who stay active, less muscle means fewer storage spaces for sugar. On top of that, aging muscle cells respond more slowly to insulin's signal. Sugar does eventually move into the cells, but it takes longer, especially during quiet periods like nighttime and early morning. This delay is why fasting blood sugar can remain elevated even when eating habits are careful. This slower process becomes most noticeable overnight. While you sleep, the liver releases small amounts of sugar to keep the brain and organs functioning. In a younger body, insulin clears that sugar efficiently before morning. In an older body, insulin lags behind. Sugar accumulates hour by hour, without any food involved. By the time you wake up, fasting numbers may be 15 to 25 milligrams per deciliter higher than expected. Many people assume dinner caused the problem, when in fact it is the body's reduced processing speed at night. Everyday life after 60 can slow insulin even more. Less movement due to joint pain, balance concerns, or fatigue means muscles are used less, which further reduces their ability to absorb sugar. Poor sleep, stress, and dehydration all interfere with insulin's work. None of these factors mean you are doing something wrong. They are common realities of aging. The mistake is responding by pushing harder, restricting food too much, or judging yourself harshly. Stress hormones rise in response to pressure, and those hormones directly raise blood sugar. The more effective approach is to work with the pace of your body instead of against it. Gentle strength activity helps preserve muscle. Steady routines support insulin timing, and good sleep allows the body to reset its sensitivity overnight. When people understand that slower insulin response is normal after 60, they stop chasing quick fixes and start seeing steadier progress. Blood sugar becomes more predictable, energy improves, and confidence returns. Control does not come from forcing results, but from respecting how the aging body truly functions. I often tell my patients over 60 that some of the habits they rely on most are not harmful because they are careless, but because they are reacting in ways that no longer fit an aging body. One of the most common mistakes is responding to a high morning blood sugar by tightening control even further. People skip snacks, cut dinner down to almost nothing, or decide to be extra strict the next day. While this feels responsible, the body interprets it as pressure. After 60, Pressure almost always raises blood sugar instead of lowering it. The liver responds to restriction by releasing more sugar, and insulin, already slower, struggles to keep up. Another frequent misstep is exercising late in the evening. Physical activity is important, but intense or prolonged movement close to bedtime keeps the nervous system alert. Heart rate stays elevated, stress hormones remain active, and sleep becomes lighter. Even if someone falls asleep quickly, the quality of rest is poor. Overnight, this shallow sleep tells the body to stay on guard, which leads the liver to release extra glucose. Many older adults are surprised to learn that their evening workouts may be contributing to higher morning numbers rather than helping them. Fluid restriction is another quiet but damaging habit. Many people drink very little in the evening to avoid waking up at night to use the bathroom. Mild dehydration thickens the blood and makes glucose readings appear higher. It also reduces the kidney's ability to clear excess sugar efficiently. By morning, people often feel stiff, thirsty, or foggy and assume their blood sugar is simply out of control, when hydration was part of the issue. Perhaps the most harmful mistake is emotional. When numbers are higher than expected, many older adults immediately blame themselves. They feel frustrated, worried, or ashamed. This emotional response triggers stress hormones that directly push blood sugar higher. The body does not distinguish between physical stress and emotional stress. Both raise glucose. Over time, this cycle of worry, restriction, and disappointment keeps blood sugar unstable and drains confidence. What truly helps is shifting from reaction to understanding. After 60, the body responds best to calm signals, not punishment. Balanced evening meals, earlier exercise, steady hydration, and a gentle wind-down routine reduce overnight stress. Just as important is learning to see blood sugar readings as information, not judgment. When older adults stop reacting with fear and start responding with steadiness, the body settles. Blood sugar becomes more predictable, sleep improves, and mornings feel less like a struggle. The goal is not perfect numbers, but a body that feels supported rather than pressured. I encourage adults over 60 to think of sleep not as downtime, but as an active tool for blood sugar control. At this stage of life, the body responds better to calm than to force. And nighttime is when that calm can either be protected or disrupted. When sleep is steady and deep enough, the body naturally lowers stress signals. The liver eases its sugar release, and insulin works with less resistance. When sleep is broken or rushed, the opposite happens. The key is learning how to use the evening hours to guide the body into repair mode instead of alert mode. This starts with a predictable rhythm. Going to bed and waking up around the same time each day trains the body to expect rest. Consistency matters more than perfection. Eating dinner earlier in the evening, ideally about 3 hours before bed, gives digestion time to settle and reduces nighttime discomfort. Avoiding the extremes of overeating or going to bed hungry helps the body feel safe enough to let go. Gentle hydration earlier in the evening supports circulation and kidney function without increasing nighttime disruptions. Small choices like dimming lights after sunset, lowering noise, and stepping away from emotionally charged content send powerful signals to the brain that it is time to slow down. These signals lower stress hormones that would otherwise tell the liver to keep releasing sugar. Sleep also restores how tissues respond to insulin. During deeper sleep, muscles become more receptive to glucose. Nerves calm, and balance improves. Many older adults notice that when they protect their sleep. They wake up steadier on their feet, clearer in their thinking, and less rushed in the morning. This is not coincidence. It is the result of a body that had time to reset overnight. Using sleep as a tool also changes the emotional relationship with blood sugar. When people stop checking numbers late at night and start prioritizing rest, anxiety drops. Lower anxiety leads to lower stress hormones, which directly supports better readings. Over time, this creates a positive cycle. Better sleep leads to steadier mornings, and steadier mornings reduce worry, allowing sleep to deepen further. I often remind my patients that after 60, control comes from cooperation. Sleep is where that cooperation begins. You do not need to sleep longer, chase perfect habits, or overhaul your life. You need to make the night calmer. When the night is calmer, the body does less fighting. The liver relaxes, insulin works at its own pace, and mornings feel lighter. Using sleep as a tool is one of the simplest, safest ways to support blood sugar, energy, and independence as you age.